Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're taking a closer look at a coin that many of you might have seen in collections, old jars, or even pocket change from years ago, the 1942 Lincoln Wheat penny. Now, at first glance, this might just look like another common copper penny, but the truth is, the 1942 Wheat penny has a fascinating history. It was minted right in the middle of World War II, and that historical context, combined with its varieties, errors, and condition rarities, makes it an interesting coin to study. Let's start with the basics. The 1942 Wheat penny was part of the Lincoln Cent series, which began in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse shows Lincoln's portrait with the words, "In God We Trust," across the top, "Liberty" on the left, and the date 1942 on the right. If the coin was struck in Denver or San Francisco, you'll see a D or S mint mark just below the date. If there's no mint mark, it was struck in Philadelphia. On the reverse, you see the classic wheat ears design. Two stalks of wheat wrapping around the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum across the top. Now let's talk about mintage. The 1942 penny was struck in three main locations. Philadelphia, over 657 million coins without a mint mark. Denver, D around 206 million coins. San Francisco, S about 85 million coins. In total, that's almost 1 billion wheat pennies struck in 1942. So yes, these coins are considered fairly common. But as we'll see, condition and errors make all the difference. Next, let's cover composition. These coins were made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This was the last full year before the mint experimented with materials due to the war. In 1943, pennies were made of steel coated in zinc to save copper for ammunition and war supplies. So the 1942 copper cents are historically important as the final large pre-war issue. Now on to values. For most 1942 pennies you find in circulated condition, the value is about 3 to 15 cents. Not too much. But in higher grades, the prices start climbing. An uncirculated MS63 red example might sell for $3 to $5. MS65 red can bring $15 to $25, but the finest known examples, an MS67 red, can be worth $1,000 or more. The mint marks matter too. Generally, the S-mint coins are scarcer in higher grades, so in 1942, S in gem condition can bring stronger premiums. But what really excites collectors are errors and varieties. Let's highlight a few. Double dies. Some 1942 pennies show doubling on the date, the word liberty, or in God we trust. Strong examples can fetch hundreds of dollars. Repunched mint marks, RPMs. Both the 1942 D and 1942 S have repunched mint mark varieties, where the mint mark was stamped more than once. Depending on strength, these can sell for $10 to $50 and much more in high grade. Off-center strikes. If the design is shifted significantly, these can bring $50 to several $100s, struck on wrong planchet. There are rare examples where a 1942 penny was struck on a blank mint for another coin, like a dime. These errors are highly valuable and can sell for thousands of dollars. Let's put this in perspective with some auction highlights. A 1942 Lincoln Cent, graded MS68 red by PCGS sold for over $12,000 at auction. A strong double die variety from 1942 has sold in the $500 to $1,000 range. Even minor RPMs in high grade have brought collectors' attention, going for $50 to $100. So even though the average 1942 penny might not be rare, there are still treasures to be found if you know what to look for. And don't forget the historical side. When you hold a 1942 penny, you're holding a piece of America during World War II. Coins that circulated while families rationed food, while soldiers were overseas, and while the mint was preparing for major changes in coinage. It's a simple copper coin, but it carries the weight of that ERA.SO to wrap things up. The 1942 wheat penny is common in lower grades, but in uncirculated condition or with errors and varieties, it becomes a coin worth holding onto. Check the date carefully, check for mint marks, and look closely for doubling or mint mark repunches. Who knows? You might have a valuable little piece of history sitting in your collection.